Welcome back to the Gfinity Champion of Champions. My name is Lycan, and with me, as always, I have Rich, Lewis, and Thorin.
Yes.
Guys, NiP versus Fnatic, game one. I think it came out in a way that Thorin wasn't expecting, at least for the start. Duncan, what are your thoughts overall on the match?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously an exciting start because NiP, they're a third of the way there. They have to win 3, obviously, to win the best of 5. This was their best chance. Like I said, recently, this has been the map where it's not historically like their best map, but it's the one that they've been leaning towards recently. And they know they got those wins over Envious and TSM, so this was always going to be the one they were going to pick. Fnatic was going to leave it up because Fnatic's good on it, and I think we saw that in this match. Both teams putting on clinics on the T side. After the first half, initially, I thought this was going to be a Fnatic narrative, actually, because the narrative was going to be Fnatic with this all-time great CT team in the past, but the way they've reinvented themselves recently to win this most recent major was actually to become a T-sided team and to be able to grind rounds out when you really need to get together 6 or 7 and string them together, and they were doing that. And they were getting the game back into a position where you thought they were going to win, and it looked like, it's going to be a wasted effort from Forest. He had like 27 kills at the time. I think he'd really been playing at a high level. Best player in the server at the time, but the Fnatic guys couldn't quite close it out. NiP started to get some of those big clutch round wins, the ones that really mattered. And then in overtime, it was all NiP, actually. So strong performance from them early on, in spite of having the problems on the CT side. I think this was the best chance for them. They've given the best showing, and they've got one map so far. It's still going to be very tough from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, I expected them to take Dust 2. Like right now, you've beaten the TSM on that map, one of the best, if not the best Dust 2 team right now. You beat Envious again, very good on Dust 2 historically. So adding Fnatic to sort of that list of scalps, not really a big surprise. What did surprise me though is just how efficient they were on that terrorist side. So they're running a double op setup on the offensive side of the map, which not everyone likes to do because you do sacrifice a bit of mobility. Forest picking up that AWP, absolutely huge. He's done it in the past. He is that secondary AWPer for the team. Great individual one-bullet aiming. But what he did, he really put on a ridiculous level of performance there. That's as good as I've seen Forest play in a long, long time. And just their executes on short were just textbook. That's literally how to execute on a short. It was reminiscent of Hellraisers. That was the one tactic that they had when they won the Ace of Predator Masters. All the great teams are able to do that. Conversely, great CT teams usually can put someone at car and shut those pushes down. Fnatic weren't able to do that, and it looked like the game was going to run away from NiP, and it would have been a travesty in a lot of ways if they weren't able to close out that map, because that is as good as it gets on the T side of Dust 2. But that was the map in my mind. I had them winning. This is where we get into the hard yards, so to speak. You're going up against Fnatic on Cobblestone now. That's Fnatic play that map like no one else. It's going to be incredibly difficult for them. Maybe Mirage after that can go any way, but then you're going on against Fnatic on Inferno after that. Now, Fnatic probably is one of the best Inferno teams of all time in the modern CSGO era. Ridiculous win rate. Duncan was pulling the stats out there when we were looking at the maps. Fnatic have a win rate of 60% or above, like on almost every map. Like, it's unheard of, it's unprecedented to have, and sometimes over 70%. No other team can boast that kind of depth in a map pool. And NiP are waving at us. Great job, guys. Great first map. But yeah, so I gotta say, this is where it gets tough. This is where it really gets tough for them. If they've got the character and the fortitude and maybe a few aces up their sleeve, and Forest can carry that level of performance, maybe they can give Fnatic a game. But right now, so far, this is playing out the way I would expect.
I do have one question. You talked a little bit about how Fnatic has reinvented themselves, and they've come back, and they're very strong now on the T side as well. But we did see that Fnatic was able to tie things up, and it kind of seemed that Alu gave him that leeway, especially on that one round where he was covering short, and he missed it. He choked a few shots, and that kind of seemed like a repetitive theme.
That was a classic Arlo performance. Duncan will be able to verify this. You can see as well, we've got some highlights playing at home that probably don't line up with what we're talking about right now, so apologies for that. But it was a classic Arlo performance in the sense that Arlo, he does that from time to time. He was missing shots while people were blind, but then what he always does, and what he's historically done, is he comes up big in the crunch rounds. When they needed somebody to be talismanic and be clutching rounds and making big impact frags, Arlo was doing it. And this is, like I say, a classic Arlo performance. If you had, here we go, this is some Arlo here. You can see, he's going to whiff that shot, but then boom, there's a close range scope, boom, there's another kill like that, and then he gets picked, but by that point, he's already won the round. Now, that's what Arlo does. 1 minute, you think, how can you miss that? And then the next minute, he does something where you think, okay, this guy's a premier world-class AWPer. It's the frustration of Arlo, and indeed how he fits in with NiP.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think it was the two AWPers on that map who well, obviously Forest was AWPing as well, so 3 AWPers. It was really AWPers who decided the fate of the map, because when Fnatic really got it rolling, it was JW, as you saw in the clip there. And the interesting thing is, historically, Dust 2 didn't used to be a really strong map for Fnatic. They were good on it because initially they were just good on everything. They used to be absolute beasts. But actually, I think, and that was back when we only had 5 maps in the pool, obviously. But one of the things that always made them good, I felt, just as I said when we were talking before about Cash, how they're not really that good on Cash, but Olofmeister is amazing on Cash. Yeah. What always made them good on Dust 2 is JW is really good on Dust 2, because the maps they traditionally like, okay, they like stuff like Inferno, that's not really as much of an AWPer's map. So you put someone like JW or Alu or Forest, you put them onto maps like Dust 2, they can pick where and at what range they take the fights at. They're going to have a huge impact on the game. Now, the big issue is, obviously, we've seen Dust 2 now. NiP grounded out. They got the win they needed. But this is going to be a monumental task to stop this going into the third map as a 1-1 series, because Fnatic are pretty imperious on this map. Since May, they've only lost 2 times on this map. One was to TSM in what is one of the anomalies, actually, that I've ever seen in a Counter-Strike competition, because TSM aren't even good on that map. In fact, it's the map they now ban permanently. Yeah. So that was just a weird anomaly that no one can account for. Then the other time they lost was that incredibly close game against Cloud9 at ESEA, the first Pro League finals, where it was really, really back and forth match, and Fnatic just got pipped at the post there. Otherwise, no one can beat them on this map. They routinely take Virtus Pro on, who are phenomenal on this map, just toy with them. So I think if NiP can win this one, then if they can win this map, hey, they can maybe even win the series. But I think this is going to be, I think it's beyond the pale of what you can really expect from NiP. I think Fnatic's going to really, they're going to tie the series up, and it should be in impressive fashion. This is a very, very strong map for them.
Yeah, I agree with everything Duncan said there.
All right, thank you guys. That's all for us here. We're going to send it back to the casters. Take it away, Kai and I.
Cheers, guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Champion of Champions Gfinity $100,000 Counter-Strike Global Offensive Tournament. My name is Kai Knight. Alongside me is Chewy. And what a map Dust 2 was. Fantastic.
What a start off to not only the series, but a start to the tournament as well. As the guys have talked about, all games best of 5 here. And that was just the first map out of a potential 15 that we could be bringing you over the course of this weekend. So certainly exciting stuff. Let's hope that Cobblestone continues in that fashion. But, you know, again, the guys at the analyst desk have talked a bit about Cobblestone. I personally agree. I only see this going Fnatic's way. What about yourself?
Well, we said it, you know, just at the end of the Dust 2 game, that for us going into Cobblestone, there's only going to be one winner, simply not just due to style of play, but because of how strong Fnatic on paper are on this map. Yeah. I believe even though they lost in the ESL Dubai finals against Virtus Pro, the first map that they won was in fact Cobblestone, and we know that Virtus Pro are quite a strong Cobblestone team as well. But yeah, for me, there's only going to be one winner, and I think the main man who I'm going to be really looking forward to seeing on Cobblestone is Olofmeister. I know we said that for D-Dust 2, and he's quite disappointing, but he's the kind of guy who will put D-Dust 2 behind him, he'll put Dust 2 behind him, and focus full on to Cobblestone, just like it's a completely new game. He'll put all his worries behind him. And personally, I think if he and the rest of his teammates can win the pistol round, get that AWP in his hands nice and early, maybe even JW to go aggressive at the long area, or maybe try to assert some dominance at mid, that we could see some very, very, very interesting plays coming out from this Fnatic side.
I'm really looking forward to seeing it. It's a thing of magic to see Fnatic play Cobblestone. It really is. But again, you know, to try and stay even in this situation, NiP, they're coming off the back of a big win there on Dust 2. It was their map pick, so you would expect them to take it, but still, you know, they've got the momentum rolling in their favour. That being said, if Fnatic start off strong here and just pick up 5 or 6 rounds in the board, that momentum built up from Dust 2 can instantly vanish. It really can. So we'll see what happens. We're into the 9th round by the looks of things. Let's see who takes it now. Kyanite, we discussed this on Dust 2 in terms of CT-sided, T-sided. I know you've got a lot of opinions about Cobblestone, so why don't you lead us through that during this 9th round?
Well, when the map first came out, it was ridiculously CT-sided, and then Volvo made some changes, and now, you know, there's a lot of arguments that occur online regarding whether this new iteration of Cobblestone is CT-sided or T-sided, and what we've really found is, as teams play it more and more, because it is obviously quite a new map, similar to Overpass, and teams start to discover more smokes, more Molotovs, more ways to play their terrorist sides on this map. It's slowly but surely becoming a bit more of a T-sided map. And one thing that may very well be sort of like the deal breaker for this map is the fact that the M4A1S nerf came in very recently, and a lot of the pro players, like at DreamHack London and DreamHack Stockholm, were saying that, in our opinion, We used to say CSGO was a CT-sided game, but not anymore. Not now that the AK-47 is so much cheaper and has such a significant superiority over the M4s that the CTs have to play with.
Well, it looks like we're live, ladies and gentlemen, into map number 2 in this long best-of-5 series. The Swedish battle with, of course, that single Finn. Alu, the man who was just on your screen. Fnatic won the knife round and chose to go CT.
Yeah, get right with the Rec 9. Taking a leaf out of the book of the one and only Olof Meister, who, as I said, really needs to step things up. The mass majority of Fnatic's men heading towards this B bomb site. None of the CT's gone too aggressive over towards Long or the connector area to try and get information on where the Fnatic side is. But what I like from Fnatic is that they've stacked this B bomb site as the NiP terrorists look to be just getting ready to push straight into this bomb site. They've not got any smokes to really create any set pieces. I think they're just going to try and go in all guns blazing and try and overpower JW and go.
I love how JW is just shooting through that smoke there on such low health. He will be dispatched off to the hands of Freiburg there, but instant response by Crims and Pronax there. 2-for-1 trade. Get Right's going to be in that typical lurker role. He's found one player there. He's actually going to find the other, but Olof Meister swings round and picks up another kill. So that leads us now into a 3 versus 2. Ninjas in Pyjamas rotating quickly, but of course, Kainak, they've got the longer route here. Look at how quickly Olof Meister can switch his position back over towards A.
It is, but they knew that all the Fnatic players had rotated over to B. Now they've split the defense up, and now they will find themselves in a one-on-one fight. Alu will drop down Olof Meister, leaving things in a 2 versus 2. Bomb to get planted by the Finn, and Exist will be playing up close and personal and needs to clutch, but so difficult when you consider how strong the Tech-9 is. But Exist is going to get the frag, and now Crims in a 1 versus 1 with the silenced USP. Like a silent assassin, sorry, managing to get that final frag of the pistol round, and Fnatic finally enter the scoreboard. 1-0. That went right down to the wire. I think it was very good thinking from NiP to split the defense up and go all the way back round towards that A bomb site, but in the end they just couldn't hold the bomb site.
Very close encounter indeed. I like the decision from NiP to rotate, as you said, realizing how many players were over towards Fnatic, towards the B bomb site even, but still not able to clutch it out in the end. Pronax with a Tech-9, I think it was, in hand that he managed to pick up, did some real good damage, pushing through aggressively, finding that bomb planter. So, advantage the Fnatic squad. Let's see if NiP can respond here. They're not really deciding to go for too much. They've upgraded pistols, they've got 1 flashbang left in the hands of Exist, but not too much else, and that equals to me that they're going for that early round 3 buy.
Yeah, they planted on the pistol, so this is pretty much the norm. JW, I think he's more than aware where Freiburg is hiding. It's just a matter of time until NiP start knocking on this Fnatic defensive door. But this is the thing, Fnatic, they can't afford to get a bit too complacent. We know JW is one of those players with a bit of a mind of his own sometimes, so they're going to have to try to keep their distance, bar JW with that swag 7.
Are they
and
all
with
right?
40
They're
seconds
all
to go,
like literally they're all
NiP,
jumping.
they're going to have to make a move on.
It's literally just like the Freiburg has
ninjas,
just
mate.
been
Of
sat
course they're
there
jumping.
jumping just constantly. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just had to spot it out because all he did was just sit in the flower bed and jump constantly over towards B catwalk. But there we go, the first frags of the round finally moved their way in here, as it looks very good indeed for Fnatic. Get Right once again in this drop down position. He's going to find another player. Flusher really shouldn't have done that. He will eventually be taken out here. So once again, advantage Fnatic, but good damage dealt so far from the Ninjas.
Alu knows exactly where Crims is hiding, just in that hut at the back of the bomb site, but I do believe he's going to get outnumbered in the end. Some nice submachine gun kills as well for Fnatic to allow him to build up a bit of bank. And here we go, Chewy. They got the bomb plant on the pistol round, did the NiP team, and they can now put money towards these Kalashnikovs. But Get Right, of course, who always goes for the P90. We all know it's his favorite weapon nowadays.
Changing things up, and this is interesting because once again, just look at the setup here for Fnatic. Olof Meister was still that UMP in hand, and JW with the Mag 7 as well, so this could potentially really go any way. But in terms of armory, I think it could favour Ninjas in Pyjamas, although Alu's had very low already, down to 29 points of health. He's got to be careful in this situation. Olof Meister holding a very close angle there, as you can see, just over towards drop down with that close range SMG in hand.
Yeah, on paper, you'd really, just based on sheer firepower, you'd expect this to go in favour of the Ninjas because of these AK-47s. Skyfall is one of the most difficult areas to hold as a counter-terrorist on this map on Cobblestone, but NiP have gained access to it, and what a player to put there. Get right with the P90. Molotov going down. He's going to try and barbecue Crims. So close to dealing damage to him as well. But 45 seconds on the clock. NiP, they need to make a move.
Yeah, they're taking this very slowly, and Fnatic are more than welcome to just let NiP walk into their crosshairs here. JW still once again holding that angle. Get right, swapped out the P19. He's actually picked up an M4, but it's 2 frags in favor of Fnatic. Back and forth we go into a 2 versus 2. Not much HP left, but it doesn't look like they may need it here as Flusher finds himself now the last one left alive, and Ninjas in Pajamas leave it very late, but they do get the bomb plant down.
Flusher storming straight in towards the B bomb site, wants to put his foot down and wants to make it 3 rounds to 0 for the Fnatic side. But Get Right is playing this from a long distance, but Flusher will just about catch him. Off with your head, Get Right. See you later, mate. And that, my friends, is what Flusher's capable of doing. What a player.
They were really tagged low. I think Allo was on about 9 points of health, and then the grenade that came in from Flusher tagged Get Right very low indeed as well. So they were in a tricky spot just in that situation. It looked like Get Right could do some real good damage, pushing around in that secondary position there after the bomb plant, but Flusher too smart for that game. And NiP once again here going for the buy. They've really not got too much utility to work with here, Kylite, and that could be a bit worrying.
Now they've got the bomb plant, so it's allowed them to do this. But at the moment, mass majority of the time, they just send the mass majority of their people towards this B bomb site and then just try and wait around for one of these Fnatic players to go a bit too aggressive in order to attain the entry frag. Not got much smokes to work with, and this really is one of those maps where it's, as I said on Dust 2, it's all about set pieces, and it's very difficult to infiltrate either of these 2 bomb sites when you don't have smokes to cover potential areas CTs can be hiding in.
Fnatic already in the early rounds of this second map showing their class here. And will it continue? We'll find out. Pronax holding a very close angle with this MP9 in hand, but JW still deciding to use the Mag 7, dealing great damage once again here. He's found one player, exists knocked low to 1 point of health before eventually being taken out, and that is a 5 versus 3 once again here in favor of Fnatic, and this is going to be really difficult for NiP to try and penetrate. It's not going to happen. Freiburg, the last one left alive versus 4.
And he will get murdered by Olofmeister. So 4-0 to Fnatic. Ninjas in Pajamas, obviously when they were in sort of a similar scenario to this on Dust 2, we saw them continue to force it up because they didn't want to allow Fnatic to build up any economy. It doesn't seem like they've opted to do exactly that right now. Get Right really the only player with armor, the rest of them go in for the Deags. But looking at the bright side, it's nice to see the Deagles get back into play in CSGO.
The Forest will fall. Olofmeister puts the smoke down and then pushes through, but look, the game is up here for NiP. Olofmeister and Flusher cleaning up things in fashion. That is the triple for Olof, 5-0 the score. And I talked a little bit earlier on about how that momentum from Dust 2 for NiP could easily vanish if Fnatic started off strong on Cobblestone, and we're already really starting to see potential glimpses of that happening now.
We are. And JW opting to stick with that Swag 7. Why not? Let's see whether he can finally get a kill with it. Alu has the AWP finally in his hands, but that nade is going to be hurled straight at him. He's still looking pretty healthy, though, as JW gets up close and personal. He's going to spot Forest, and he's going to get that frag before falling back. Straight towards the window he goes, and now Fnatic, now that they've got this first frag of the round, Chewy, they can just fall back, play this more passive, and wait for NiP to come to them.
Yeah, exactly. It's all pressure on NiP here. They're the ones with the work to do. They're the ones who have got the clock ticking to try and get that bomb down. And the CT setup here for Fnatic is really looking strong. They've got grenades to work with once again just to bide their time still. JW is going to get caught out there by Get Right, and that evens things up into a 4-on-4. Get Right in that skyfall position. He's going to push through, and Olofmeister could bait him out here. He sees the barrel of the AK-47, securing once again the man advantage for Fnatic.
Yeah, they haven't really tried out this A-bomb site, have Ninjas in Pajamas. Most of the time wait until around the 40-minute mark. Once they've got a rough idea with regards to how their opponents are setting up, they then decide to execute, and it's going to be the ex-Milesports man in Alu to actually lead the charge with this AWP, trying to check all the required angles, but none of these Fnatic players really showing anything at the moment, and they really are playing this by the book. It's great to see.
They've got a lot of information about what's going on. That being said, Freiburg does take down Olaf Meister. Instantly responded, though, in the trades. They're exactly what Fnatic needs, even if one player does fall. As long as the frag comes back in their favor, that's all they care about. Alu's going to be in a really tricky spot here. There was no way for him to escape, and that was such a simple little play there. Pronax has got to be careful. Bit too cocky, my friend. Not quite yet. But still, Alu there, they knew exactly where he was, so they molotoved that area just behind him so he couldn't escape around the back of the bomb site, and then just pushed in together. Nowhere for him to run.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder whether, if Ninjas in Pyjamas had maybe had some smokes to utilize, smoke off the connector area, smoke off the little balcony area, Olaf Meister wouldn't have been able to jump down, but ultimately it was Flusher at the back of the bomb site who went big.
And do you know what's really interesting here is we saw those last two players alive look down at an AWP and question for a second as to whether to pick it up, and they've not decided to. They've certainly got more than enough money to buy an AWP, but JW doesn't seem to need it at the second. He's just happy with a shotgun in hand.
Well, Alu, we know he can snipe. He can definitely rifle as well. Olaf Meister, casualty #1, and our Ninjas in Pyjamas finally gonna get their first round on the scoreboard. Let's wait and see. Pronax has been given the task of trying to hold Skyfall. But they can't really do anything, can the Ninjas in Pyjamas, until the fire dissipates and disappears. Get right. Looks to be searching for someone. He knows that someone must surely be here at such a crucial choke point of the map. He's going to jump down. Oh, he may have very well just spotted Pronax. Oh, the spray failed from none other than Get Right himself. And Pronax now gives Fnatic the upper hand.
He's played that so well, Pronax. The timing of that incendiary grenade to throw back to that T-side to prevent the push, which NiP were just about to pull off there, shut them down in their tracks, and then they had to use another smoke grenade to try and gain control. And Get Right lost the gunfight. So once again, as we've seen time and time again so far in this map, advantage Fnatic, although Alu has picked up his second frag of the round, expecting another player over there, and it will be Flusher, that man, to meet and greet him potentially here. So 2 versus 3, and NiP do have time to work with Kyanite, but I still, honestly, in this situation, do favour Fnatic.
JW to be rotating and looking to flank from mid. Just saw literally millimeters of Freiburg's face, but Freiburg does what Freiburg does best, gets a double, and we've got a massacre happening here on the A bomb site. It's Crims up against Freiburg. It's a battle of wits. It's a battle of AK-47s, and Crims will just about win it. And Fnatic, my friends, they're not going to give this round away. NiP, you're going to have to keep on trying to snatch one off them, because it is going to be 7-0.
And this is getting dangerous now for NiP, I have to say. You can see some of those scores. Forest, again, I know that frag count isn't the biggest thing to look at overall, but Forest with only 1 kill here when he was easily, at the end of Dust 2, he had something like 37 frags, or, to see him so quiet at the start of this game is just the complete opposite of what we saw on Dust 2, and he's evidently one of the key players for this Ninjas in Pyjamas team to turn things around from. Get Right once again going for the P90. Let's see if NiP can try and get their first round on the board. JW, hello with a Max 7, picks up 1. You don't see that every day, but he's found a lot of information, seeing 2 more players over towards that B catwalk area.
Olaf has been given the freedom to lurk about wherever he wants, and he will punish NiP in style. He's so unfortunate to run out of bullets, so NiP will put their foot down back again towards this inner area. And 3 versus 3, this does slightly favour the terrorists. Where do you think they're going to be heading, Chewy?
Well, it looks like they could be heading over towards A, and Get Right finding that information and the kill onto Pronax there could really lead to a good situation. But look, it's sneaky beaky Flusher moving over towards the A bomb site. They don't know that he's here. He's going to catch out Alu. Alu sprays wildly, trying to find the player, but will not land it. And they've also found the bomb by the looks of things now. Freiburg got some damage to do over towards Flusher, who's hardly taken a single point of health. But just look how low the NiP players here are.
Freiburg spraying. Oh, Flusher comes back to haunt him. And now it's all down to none other than Totte himself. Mr. Get Right to try and clutch the round. Gets the first. Flusher was so heavy tagged, but he's called the main clutcher for this Fnatic side. And again, time after time, he's just showed us exactly why. 8-0 the score now. And NiP, they keep getting closer and closer, Chewy, but it's just not happening for them.
Yeah, it's not enough. It really isn't. And that's Counter-Strike at times. It can come down to those 1 versus 1 gunfights to define what happens. And I don't blame NiP for forcing up here. They've really not got too much option. We're only 8 rounds in, and Fnatic have won this CT half, technically. So Ninjas in Pyjamas already with a lot of work to do. And look at the counter boost. JW still with the Max 7 in hand. Dispatches of Freiburg, not what NiP needed.
No, this is nice from NiP. I think it was Get Right from the T-spawn area who smoked down the mid connector, but as a result of JW's amazing aggression that we've seen time after time again, I mean, we're 9 rounds in and he still is using this Mag 7.
Yeah.
He hasn't allowed NiP to execute, even though NiP really only have Tech 9s. This is JW at his finest, and NiP, they can't let that happen.
He's top fragging on the server with 11 kills, just
They
using
keep
a Mag
allowing
7.
him to push that area, and
Yeah.
they can't do that. They've got to come up with a way to counter it.
What can you do? Oh dear, for Ninjas, this is not exactly what we wanted to see from them. We wanted a competitive game exactly like we saw on Dust 2, which was just back and forth all the way, but credit to Fnatic where it is due. We knew this was a strong map choice for them, and they are proving it here. Pronax takes down Freiburg once again here to start things off in this round. Forest is going to get caught out. Lovely positioning from Fnatic there, and the grenade to finish off that second NiP player. And I know I've said it before, but I'm going to have to say it again, advantage Fnatic.
Yeah, Forest tried heading towards the B bomb site, maybe to get a pick, split up the defense a little bit, maybe force a rotation over from the A bomb site for Fnatic. But NiP, it's not over just yet, especially when you've got Get Right on your side, but JW is at it again with the with the Swag 7. And he's going to get a double, and JW, he's constantly being boosted into this area, being allowed to push this area, and Ninjas in Pyjamas, how many more rounds are we going to see where they don't have an answer to this? Well, it's embarrassing.
It was Pronax on long on Dust 2, having full control of that a lot of the time. Now it's JW on a very tricky, as you say, area for the CTs to hold a drop down, being boosted up there, and with a Mag 7 dealing constant damage. This is another double for him. Get Right did take down 2 players in quick succession, but, well, it's not enough. Exist finds himself the last one left alive. Pop flashes himself in the face there, and another hat-trick. That's 2 in a row for JW. He's going to swap out the AK. You would suspect that he'll drop that for a teammate and then pick up another Mag 7 potentially here, and already double figures. This is looking like this could be a real whitewash, and I don't want to say that.
Well, so far it's been a complete wipeout, to be fully honest with you. Ninjas in Pyjamas haven't showed up. I mean, we said earlier on that Fnatic are fantastic when it comes to Cobblestone, but I don't think we quite expected Ninjas in Pyjamas to be this poor. But looking at the bright side, they at least have the first map to fall back on. But who knows? Who knows with NiP? Like you said, earlier on in the week, they were 14-1 down to Fnatic and narrowly ended up bringing it back to 16-14, where they did lose. But they've got AKs now. Let's see whether they can use them to try and breach one of these 2 bomb sites. It's very difficult. Fnatic utilizing these very thick smokes so well defensively. Pronax is going to open things up towards Get Right as Freiburg leads a charge out of long. He is going to get a kill, but Olaf Meister is quick to pounce and return the frag. And it's 4 versus 3 in Fnatic's favor. It's still difficult to see how NiP are going to unlock this one.
Oh, lovely shot there from Forest onto Crims, taking off his head, but Olaf Meister is still dealing considerable damage here over towards that A bomb site, and Pronax will take down Forest in the end. So now, once again, for the second round in a row, we find Exist, the last one left alive on this Ninjas in Pyjamas team, and he's got the impossible task here, the impossible dream. 2 HP clutch. Won't happen. JW with his first frag of the round and the last one over all. 11-0 the score. And I mean, this is the kind of game that really, as a caster, you know, and as a viewer, becomes very difficult to watch because, I mean, what can you say? There's only so much analysing we can do over this.
No, mate, what you do is you believe in NiP to bring this back to 11-4.
Magic, in quotation marks.
That's what you have to do. And the main destination for the Ninjas is the B bomb site. Nades thrown straight away, and they've actually dealt damage onto JW, but the fact that they stacked so many people over towards B has allowed Olaf Meister to do what JW was doing elsewhere on the map. Fortunately, Ali was going to nail him in the face, and now Pronax has the very difficult job of holding Skyfall with only 20 bullets.
Flash goes out there, will not do anything though to the NiP. The second one will though, as he moves his way through, and the flash was perfectly timed there, as was his push. Pronax gets 2, and they've still got control of this area. NiP really should not have allowed that to happen whatsoever. Double the man advantage here, make that triple if Alu doesn't somehow land this kill. To Flusher, I believe that was, over towards the A-bomb site. Forest is going to get taken down by the Mag 7, and JW just seems to have an arsenal of weaponry that he can just utilize now. You know, we can see what damage he can do with a long-range AWP, and now close range with a Mag 7.
Well, that's actually something the developers put a lot of time and effort into, wanting to make all the guns in CSGO
you know, a viable option as opposed to back in 1.6 and Source. But hey-ho, we've still got a round going on, believe it or not. And Alu's going to be the pioneer over here towards the B-bomb site, but he will get disposed of with ease by Crims. 12-0 the score. But yeah, it's nice to see, you know, weapons brought into CSGO like the Mag 7, which serve a purpose, and JW was using it to its full advantages, getting up close and personal in them halls. And even though a lot of the Ninjas in Pyjamas players had armor, up close and personal, it's such a deadly weapon that it most of the time only takes like 2 body shots to kill you. That's how powerful it is.
He's already got 16 frags on the board so far in this first half. Olaf Meister, though, will be dropped down by Freiburg, who starts things off in this round number 13. Only a couple more here to go, but Flusher just using the smoke perfectly there. Really great timing, and he actually knows that there's another player around the corner. Forrest, who's been very quiet so far this half, does pick him up, though, and that's the man advantage desperately, which they needed in favor of the Ninjas.
Well, the Wonder Child is chilling in the smoke at the moment, and Pronax is trying a ninja defuse, genuinely taking a leaf out of the book of the old Ninjas in Pyjamas. I think he was back in CPL where it was Spawn who almost got the ninja defuse, but that aside, congratulations to NiP. It does seem like they are going to go into the second half with at least 1 round. And like I said, all we can do is believe at this point.
A lot of belief is going to have to be had, though.
Believe from the perspective that we won a game on our hands.
Exactly, and that is the point. You know, this is the thing with how competitive and how closely fought Dust 2 was. To see, as you said earlier on in your words, a wipeout is not what we wanted, although it could have easily been done and has been done with how strong Fnatic are on this map. So, into the penultimate round of the first half we go. Once again, Olaf Meister will be the first player to fall, this time to the hands of Alu, though, with the AK-47. Really, once again, good work at the start of the round, but Flusher responding straight away over aggressive towards long.
Yep, advantage NiP as these AK-47s rattle off left, right and centre. It's going to be Olaf and Flusher, 2 very important players for this Fnatic lineup who are going to hit the dust. Now, with a minute to go, the question is, where are the Ninjas in Pyjamas heading? I believe Pronax may have just seen the head of Freiburg, so down goes that Molotov, forcing Freiburg back. He's going to try and get the spray down through the wall, but instead he jumps up and drops Exist at mid. And NiP, they need to coordinate this push together. They've got to wait for Get Right to join in, and they've got to try and surround Pronax.
Pronax has really been one of the key players here, but, well, Crims is also chiming in with good fashion as well. That's 2 very quick kills. Still deciding to use that newly nerfed M4A1, and who can blame him when he's dealing damage like that? And such well held there by Fnatic. It was just simple, holding good angles there, waiting for NiP to come into their crosshairs, saying, you know, come on, it's our advantage here, NiP. You're the ones who've got to push onto the bomb site. We don't really need to peek too much in this situation. Come to us and see what you can do.
Pronax did really well to sort of act as a decoy to allow Crims to rotate in from that small balcony area and get those 2 surprise kills. But anyways, Flusher has gone for a machine gun. Let's see what happens.
Interesting choice indeed. The Negev coming out. Get Right also picked up a sawed-off shotgun, I believe that was, but this is surely going to be a 14-1 half. You've got to suspect, which is a real shame after, as I've said so many times, how close Dust 2 was. This has really been the polar opposite of it in every single aspect, almost. But for NiP's downfalls on this map have been Fnatic's just overpowering dominance on it. We knew that they had a very strong chance of taking Cobblestone here, and they've just been looking absolutely unstoppable. How do you just counter this kind of thing? Wow.
Go on, Flusher. There's a pot flush coming in. Are they going to try and knife him? Oh, God.
They were, but just to be safe than sorry, they put a couple of machine gun bullets in. And
it's nice to see NiP enjoying that. 3 XDs, 1 from Forest, 1 from Get Right, 1 from Freiburg.
Well, I'm not sure if enjoying was the right word. More like just, okay, that was a pretty shocking half.
To be honest, let's be realistic, though. Were NiP really expecting to get something out of this map?
But still, to get so little out of it is still pretty appalling. You know, like, as we said, they had that momentum potentially coming in from map 1, even though it really didn't play a factor whatsoever. And so, even if they didn't expect to get anything from this map, for it to be such a shutout in this kind of a fashion, with NiP barely getting 1 round, is, I think that's a bit too far-fetched, in my opinion, I have to say.
3 defensive players over towards B. Exist. I love this position just behind the tree. You'd be amazed, even at this top professional level, how many teams often forget to check that tree area. Get Right with his beloved dualies. playing from Skyfall, but he's heard the Glocks rattle off of olofmeister and Pronax as he sprays and prays with these dual elites. A gun in each hand, he's looking to capitalize, and there is the headshot from the ex-Fnatic and SK gaming man. Let's see whether NiP can at least win this pistol.
And actually, I believe those dualies have been buffed recently as well.
They have,
so, you know, Get Right, who always used to use them. Yeah, exactly. He's like, thank you, Valve and Lord Gaben, for improving them for me. That being said, just look at the push here. Again, so confident from olofmeister especially, and Crims, who both get 2 kills there. They move through drop down with ease, and what potentially looked like a great round for NiP to pick up has all fallen apart in a matter of seconds. Forest, well, we know what damage he can do with the pistol, so game's still on. Olof going for the Zeus, so it really has descended into chaos.
Oh dear. You know, as the Chuckle Brothers would say, oh dear.
Oh dear.
No, you'd say oh dear, oh dear. You never watched Chuckle Vision as a child?
I did, but I don't remember that. I know you're a big fan, meeting them just the other month, but maybe not me.
I love Paul and Barry Chuckle. Love me a bit of Chuckle
You know
Vision.
it's descended into chaos when we have to resort to that with a 15-1 scoreline on our map. But anyway, moving on back into the game. Fnatic on the verge of evening up this situation here. Forest looks like he's just going to hide in the smoke.
Yeah, I think Flusher knows what's going on, though. Just spraying and praying through it. He's not gonna actually manage to deal too much damage. And of course, with this being the potentially final round of the game, being match point, it's no surprise to see NiP, despite losing the pistol, investing fully into armor. Existent Forest, he went massive, did Forest, with that CZ75 on DDoS 2 towards the B bomb site. Let's see whether he can do it again on the very same bomb site. He's not going to be able to. Get Right from Connector, spraying and praying with that 5-7, but it's not meant to be. As Flusher barges through the Connector area with that MAC-10 to nail Alu in the face. And it's very, very, I hate to say it, I really do, it's very, very difficult to see the Ninjas jumping back into this one.
Yeah, no, I don't feel it whatsoever there, and Freiburg will be the last one left alive here, as it should be a 16-1 and will be a 16-1 scoreline, and the crowd applauds, but they're really only applauding there for just the dominant style of Fnatic, not a competitive game, a complete blowout in every single fashion that you could ever think of, to be quite honest. A disappointing map overall for a neutral, you know, viewer's perspective, but I mean, let's stay positive. My gosh, Fnatic, what a performance.
Yeah, like I said, we knew how strong Fnatic were on Cobblestone going into this map. We know that NiP aren't exactly... they're going through turmoil at the moment, let's not lie to each other. And were we really, like I said, were we really expecting NiP to win the map? Maybe not. Were we expecting them to get more than one round? Yeah, probably. Yeah. But at this point, they're all experienced enough to be able to forget what happened on Cobblestone and even forget the win that they got on Dust 2 and just focus mainly on Mirage, which is going to be the next map.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, I think, again, we need another quick breather, and NiP need to try and regain things, but we'll be going for a break in a second and then back to the analysts. But let's very quickly, just before we do, Kaya, let's talk about Mirage, because I really just want to get that in now before we go to it, because it's going to be an interesting one, I think. And I think in the grand scheme of things, I mean, I thought it could be a close encounter with Fnatic taking it, but you've got to wonder how low the heads will drop of NiP now after that crushing loss on Cobble.
Well, I think, like we said earlier on, Cobblestone is one of those very set-piece orientated maps. The exact same thing applies for Mirage. Yeah. But the truth is, did we really see that set-piece style of play come out from Fnatic? Not really, because their CT side was that good that we didn't really have to see them try and pull it off as terrorists. Going into Mirage, this is a map that Ninjas in Pyjamas chose themselves. I personally was quite surprised that they chose Mirage over Inferno, but the only assumption we can really make is that they've been working on this map and they feel confident, and I'm really looking forward to, if we do end up seeing it, an AWP battle between JW and Alu at mid.
Well, we will see. Anyway, guys, as I said, going to a quick break and then back to the analysts, who I'm sure will have a lot to say about that second map. So join us back here in just a few minutes' time.
yourself.